Welcome back, coin enthusiasts and collectors. Today, we are diving into the fascinating world of United States coinage, focusing specifically on one of the most iconic and widely collected coins in American history, the Washington Quarter. Over the decades, the Washington Quarter has captured the hearts of numismatists not just for its design and silver content in early years, but also for the rarity of certain mint marks and exceptional conditions that make some issues extremely valuable in today's auction market. In this video, we will explore the most valuable top 5 Washington Quarter dollar coins, examining their history, unique features, rarity, and current market value in dollars, providing collectors with essential insights into these highly sought-after treasures. So let's get started. First up, the legendary 1983 Washington Quarter dollar with the P mint mark, struck in Philadelphia. Many collectors overlook quarters from the 1980s because they were minted in large quantities for everyday circulation. However, when it comes to coins in very fine or extremely fine condition, especially specific years like 1983, things begin to change dramatically in the numismatic world. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you might want to go check your pocket change, old jars, or inherited coin boxes for this one. Let's take a walk back into history. The Washington Quarter was first introduced in 1932 by the United States Mint to commemorate the 200th birth anniversary of the nation's first president, George Washington. Designed originally by John Flanagan, this quarter replaced the standing Liberty Quarter and quickly became a long-standing symbol of American coinage. For decades, the quarter was minted exclusively in 90% silver up until 1964. After 1965, due to rising silver prices, the mint transitioned to a copper-nickel clad composition, which is still used today. Now, jumping forward to 1983, this year fell into the period when the U.S. economy and coin production were stabilizing after the turbulence of the 1970s inflation era. Importantly, 1983 was one of the early years that the Philadelphia Mint began adding the P mint mark to quarters, a feature that first appeared on quarters in 1980. That makes 1983 part of an important era when coin identification and collectors' tracking started becoming more precise. Now, let's talk about the coin's physical features. The 1983 P Washington Quarter is made from a copper core, with an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel, giving it that classic silver-like finish. On the obverse, you have a bold left-facing portrait of George Washington, with the word, Liberty, above his head, and the famous motto, "In God We Trust," to his left. The year 1983 sits below his portrait. What sets this specific coin apart visually for collectors is the P mint mark, located just to the right of Washington's ponytail. Flip the coin to the reverse, and you'll see the majestic American bald eagle with outstretched wings, clutching arrows, and olive branches, a symbol of America's readiness for defense and desire for peace. Above the eagle reads, United States of America, with E pluribus unum, just above the bird's head, and quarter dollar, along the bottom. Now, remember, design alone doesn't make this quarter extremely valuable since the same design was used on millions of coins. Condition is what makes all the difference here. A quarter from 1983 that remains in very fine condition shows sharp details, lightly worn rims, clear lettering, and a strong visible portrait, and this is exactly what collectors crave. So, why is this coin considered rare in demand? The truth is, while over 673 million quarters were minted at the Philadelphia Mint in 1983, most of them entered circulation immediately. People used them for vending machines, laundry, arcade games, and daily transactions. Because this coin was not made from precious metal like silver, very few were preserved in mint state or high collectible grades. That scarcity of well-preserved 1983 P quarters today fuels collector hype. Additionally, 1983 is known among numismatists for having some die varieties and error coins, including double dies and minor strike issues, although those are extremely uncommon. Even when we're not talking about confirmed errors, any 1983 P quarter in very fine or better condition becomes a standout example simply because so many others were heavily circulated or damaged over time. Coin grading services like PCGS and NGC have confirmed that high-grade circulation survivors from 1983 form a small fraction of total mintage, making them disproportionately attractive to serious collectors building complete Washington Quarter sets. Now let's get to the part everyone loves: the value. In the current coin market, a 1983 Washington Quarter dollar with the P mint mark, in very fine condition, typically trades between $115,000. However, here's where it gets exciting. If a coin from 1983 P is graded higher than this, or certified by PCGS or NGC, the price can climb dramatically. Auction records have shown 1983 P quarters in mint state 67 selling for over $185,000. Although today's video focuses on very fine condition examples, it's important to understand that value spikes exponentially beyond extremely fine grades. On platforms like eBay, Etsy, and heritage auctions, even very fine examples gain attention when photographed well, labeled right, and paired with collector enthusiasm. Unscrupulous listings sometimes exaggerate value, but verified sale history proves that this year and mint mark combination carries premium interest when the condition is strong, original, and eye-appealing. If you're thinking of becoming a collector or hunting for this coin, keep a few smart tips in mind. Always inspect coins under good lighting or magnification to evaluate details, especially the sharpness of Washington's hair, the integrity of the rim lettering, and the visibility of the mint mark. Avoid cleaning coins since this can destroy surface originality and reduce value permanently. Store coins in protective holders or flips to preserve the grade you already have. If you believe your 1983 P quarter might be a higher-end piece beyond very fine condition, consider sending it to PCGS or NGC for professional grading. This can add confidence, credibility, and resale power in the auction market. And always study the coin's weight, texture, and strike quality to rule out environmental damage, discoloration, or post-mint alterations. The 1983 P Washington quarter dollar is not rare by mintage, but it is rare by survival and collectible condition, which makes it a fascinating piece for both beginners and advanced collectors. It holds architectural balance, patriotic symbolism, and nostalgic appeal from a modern circulation era, bridging the gap between pocket change and numismatic treasure. Next up, the legendary 1971 Washington quarter dollar with the famous D mint mark. This coin may look ordinary at first glance, but when you dig deeper into the world of numismatics, you will find that certain mint varieties from 1971, especially in higher grades like extra fine condition, have caught the attention of collectors across the globe. Whether you have inherited one, found one in circulation, or intentionally purchased one, this coin has a fascinating story, beautiful artistic features, and surprising value potential in today's auction market, particularly when it stands out in premium condition. So sit back, grab your favorite drink, and let's dive into this legendary 1971 quarters journey from mint to major value auctions. The Washington Quarter series was introduced during a major patriotic transition in the coinage of America. First minted in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birth anniversary of George Washington, the series replaced the standing Liberty quarter. The coin was designed by the remarkable sculptor John Flanagan, whose portrait of President Washington remains on the obverse even today. The minting of 1971 quarters came during a transitional era when the U.S. was circulating both silver and clad coinage. However, all regular Washington quarters minted from 1965 onward, including those from 1971, were struck using copper-nickel clad composition, following the Coinage Act of 1965. The 1971 D quarter was minted at the Denver Mint, which is denoted by the D mint mark on the coin's reverse. This facility produced over 258 million quarters in 1971 alone, but while that sounds like a massive amount, meaning it was a common circulation piece, it is important to remember that survival and higher condition over decades is what makes certain coins from this year truly rare and valuable. Most quarters from 1971 were heavily used in commerce, faced wear and tear, or were stored improperly, and that is exactly what makes surviving examples in extra fine or higher condition so desirable today. Now let's talk about what makes the 1971 D Washington quarter visually and historically captivating. On the obverse side, you'll find the dignified left-facing profile of President Washington, with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," positioned boldly above his head, and "Liberty 1971," aligned beautifully around the rim. The detailing of Washington's hair, cheekbones, and neckline are key elements collectors examine when grading this coin. The reverse design features a powerful heraldic eagle with fully outstretched wings, clutching arrows in its talons, a symbol of strength and national defense. Above the eagle, stars emphasize American unity, while the word United States of America sits proudly around the edge. Beneath the eagle, the denomination, quarter dollar, completes the reverse layout. What sets this specific coin apart for collectors are the tiny details, such as sharpness in the eagle's chest feathers, clarity in the arrows, and preservation of the legends without rim damage. Coins in extra fine condition still show noticeable wear but retain most major design features clearly, making them excellent collectible grade pieces. Additionally, some 1971 D quarters are known for striking inconsistencies like die cracks, doubling features, or repunched mint marks, which significantly elevate interest even in mid-range conditions like extra fine. Rarity is not always just about how many coins were minted, but how many remain today in collectible grade condition. Despite the huge mintage numbers out of the Denver Mint, only a very small percentage survived 50-plus years without being fully worn out. Most 1971 quarters you find today are either heavily circulated or damaged. The handful that retain 75% or more of their original details, showcase minimal scratches, and maintain strong luster in sunlight are the ones collectors are eager to add to their albums, grading submissions, or investment boxes. The collector demand around 1971 D quarters has also increased due to nostalgia. Many collectors today seek coins from the 1970s era, a decade they remember personally. Additionally, collectors who study mint eras absolutely love 1971 D quarters because notable varieties are documented from this year, and even mid-grade coins like extra fine can sometimes carry premium prices if tied to a known era die. Auction platforms have seen bidding battles where collectors push prices higher simply because of clean condition combined with intriguing strike anomalies or historical relevance. That's why this coin remains popular, not for being hard to find, but hard to find in preserved condition. Now, let's explore the most exciting part: current dollar values. A 1971 D Washington quarter in regular extra fine, non-error condition does not reach astronomical figures like older silver quarters, but is still far above face value in many cases. Typically, in the U.S. collector market, such a coin may range from $120,000 based on eye appeal, originality, toning, and detail. However, when an extra fine 1971 D quarter is linked to a specific issue such as strong double die obverse, visible die crack patterns, or repunched D mint variation, the value can shoot anywhere between $150,000 depending on recognition by variety specialists and registry lists. Coins that are especially sharp extra fine, almost about uncirculated, often spark online auction enthusiasm where buyers compete in dollars because they are building top-grade 1970 sets. Although higher mint state graded examples may sell between $235,000 when flawless, some collectors today cannot afford top MS grades, so extra fine becomes the sweet spot: affordable, still eye-catching, historically relevant, and set-worthy. This makes the coin highly liquid and tradable. If you are a collector or someone who suspects you might have rare treasure in your hands, here are some expert tips to maximize enjoyment and value from this coin. Always inspect your 1971 D quarter under magnification, looking for signs of doubling in the word Liberty or Washington's profile, signs of mint mark restrikes, or die clash impressions near the eagle. If your coin is exceptionally clean for an extra fine, consider submitting it to U.S. grading services, such as the respected authorities at PCGS or NGC, because even an extra fine coin could receive premium value if verified as high-end extra fine or known-clad error variety. Also, follow recent auctions on eBay or watch professional sales from platforms like the famous U.S. auction house Heritage Auctions, where collector demand trends are strongest. Most importantly, be patient in selling. The right buyer who needs the coin for a specific set may offer much more than standard value guides. The 1971 Washington quarter dollar with a D mint mark is one of those coins that bridges the gap between everyday pocket change and collectible treasure. While millions were minted, only a tiny fraction survived in extra fine condition with sharp detail and minimal surface marks, making it a surprisingly rare find today. Its historical background tied to America's first U.S. president, its powerful eagle symbolism, its artistic consistency from a legendary designer, and its strong auction demand among era variety and 1970s era collectors make it a coin worth checking in your collection box right now. Next up, the legendary Washington quarter dollar from 1986 with the famous D mint mark. While 1986 quarters are generally considered modern coins and relatively easy to find, a few specific varieties, errors, and high-grade condition examples have created remarkable excitement in the coin community. This specific coin from the Denver Mint, especially surviving in fine or higher condition with unique features, has recently sparked interest in auction sales, sometimes reaching stunning values in US dollars. So if you've ever wondered whether that 1986 quarter in your drawer could be worth more than face value, you're in the right place. Stay tuned as we explore its history, features, rarity, current market price in dollars, and smart tips to help you become a sharper and more successful collector. To truly appreciate the 1986 Washington quarter, we must step back into history. The series itself honors America's first president, George Washington, introduced during the 200th anniversary of his birth. The 1986 quarter was produced and released by the United States Mint, the institution responsible for manufacturing all American circulating coinage. Coins with the D mint mark were specifically produced at the Denver Mint facility, located in Denver, Colorado, one of America's most active and historically significant mint branches. In 1986, the U.S. economy was thriving under strong circulation demand, and the Mint produced millions of these coins primarily for everyday transactions. But despite such large production numbers, certain coins still managed to stand out because of rare minting varieties, minor production mistakes, or preserved collector-grade conditions. The quarter's value today does not depend just on the year or mint mark, but also on its state of survival, detail sharpness, collector desirability, and whether it includes uncommon varieties or noticeable mint anomalies. These coins circulate widely, but true gems among them are far fewer than you might think, and that's where the potential value begins. The 1986 Washington quarter carries beautifully recognizable and significant design features. On the obverse side, you'll find the left-facing portrait of George Washington, accompanied by the words, "Liberty. In God We Trust," and the minting year 1986. That iconic D mint mark is located on the obverse as well, identifying its origin, the Denver Mint facility. On the reverse side, the bald eagle appears with wings outstretched, clutching arrows and olive branches, symbols of strength and peace. Surrounding it are the words, "United States of America, e pluribus unum," and the face value inscription, $quarter. The coin is composed mostly of copper with a nickel outer layer, giving it the familiar silver-like finish seen on modern US quarters, unlike older silver versions. For collectors, the appeal lies not in the metal but in the fine preservation of design details, such as hair strands, face contours, rolled edges, eagle feather lines, lettering sharpness, and the condition of the rim. Fine condition means the coin shows slight wear from circulation but still maintains solid visible detail enough to make it collectible. Some 1986 quarters are also known for subtle minting variations or errors like off-centered strikes, double die obverse, or die cracks that significantly increase desirability. Every detail matters, especially in the coin universe, where slight differences can mean major price jumps. Now let's talk demand, because this is where collecting turns into treasure hunting. Although 1986 quarters were produced in millions, most entered direct circulation and today exist in worn condition. Coins preserved in fine or better condition are noticeably scarcer. The true rarity isn't the mint mark alone, it's the coin's well-defined features combined with collector enthusiasm. Many collectors today pursue full Washington quarter sets by mint variation, and 1986 D examples serve as important fillers. But the competition rises dramatically when examples show superior detail or feature real mint production anomalies, varieties, or errors. Coins that contain rare die varieties, minor doubling on the lettering, odd strike patterns, or clear error characteristics have high appeal because collectors know such coins are accidental, limited, and unrepeatable. Recently, interest has also been fueled by online auction activity, where collectors aggressively bid on listings that appear superior or unusual. The key takeaway is this: common coins aren't valuable by default, but uncommon examples of common coins absolutely can be. Let's get into the all-important topic you collectors love most: value in US dollars. In normal circulated or standard fine condition with no errors, the 1986 D Washington quarter usually trades just slightly above its 25-cent face value, often between $125,000 depending on buyer interest. However, here's where it gets exciting: if the coin features rare varieties or minting errors while still holding fine detail clarity, auction prices can rise rapidly. Minor double die effects, misaligned mint marks, die breaks, broad strike errors, or off-center examples can bring approximately $132,000 or even more at auction depending on error visibility. But if a 1986 quarter with a D mark is upgraded above fine into very fine or higher collector condition while featuring a verified variety or error, recent online coin bidding markets have seen coins reach anywhere from $150,000 in auction hammer price. And the true top sales, extremely rare mint error examples, have crossed $175,000 or more in shocking bidding wars. Now, is every 1986 D quarter worth $235,000? Absolutely not. But can some be? Yes, especially ones showing rare mint characteristics plus respectable condition preservation. That's the collector lottery, and it happens more often than non-collectors realize. So, how do you become a smarter 1986 Washington quarter hunter? Let me give you practical tips that actually matter. First, always examine coins under strong light or magnification. Look for doubled lettering, odd mint mark positions, rim abnormalities, hair detail sharpness, or strike inconsistencies. Second, remember that grading is a spectrum. Fine is collectible, but slightly higher grades increase the likelihood of auction success because details are stronger. Third, avoid cleaning coins. Collectors and auction graders lower the value of polished or chemically altered pieces. Fourth, when buying online, look for sellers that include clear coin photos, variety labels, or grading estimates because unclear listings hide stories, and collectors want stories they can confirm. Fifth, consider submitting exceptional examples to third-party graders like PCGS or NGC because authentication plus slab grading massively increases buyer confidence, auction visibility, and dollar price demand. And lastly, collect for enjoyment first, profit second, because the smartest buyers are always the ones who played the long game. And here we are, at the end of this $quarter journey. The 1986 Washington quarter with the D mint mark may be considered a modern circulating coin, but as we've seen, the coin world never judges value by age alone, it judges by detail, condition, variety, error rarity, and collector desire. This coin represents the era of high-volume minting, everyday commerce, and the unpredictable moments where minting presses accidentally create masterpieces for future collectors. While a typical fine 1986 quarter may only sell for a couple of dollars, The rare varieties hiding among them are the true gems, the ones that create explosive auction bidding moments and jaw-dropping values in US dollars. So go check those coin jars, look closely, keep collecting. Next up, the legendary Washington quarter dollar of 1986 with the P mint mark, especially in very fine condition. While quarters are often seen as everyday coins, certain issues, like this 1986 example, have captured the attention of collectors due to their rarity, condition, and unique characteristics. In this video, we will explore the history behind the coin, its design features, why it is sought after, current market value in dollars, and tips for collectors looking to add it to their collection. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American coinage since its introduction in 1932, designed to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. By 1986, the coin had long transitioned into regular circulation but continued to carry the legacy of its original design by John Flanagan. The P mint mark indicates that the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which historically has produced some of the most circulated coins due to the high volume of production. While millions of 1986 quarters were minted, coins that survive in very high grades, especially very fine or better, are increasingly scarce as most were used in daily transactions. This makes well-preserved examples particularly interesting for collectors. The 1986 Washington quarter retains the classic features that have made it recognizable for generations. On the obverse, we see the profile of George Washington facing left, with the inscriptions, Liberty, above his head and In God We Trust, to the left. The date, 1986, appears prominently at the lower right, accompanied by the P mint mark, a subtle yet significant indicator of its origin. The reverse design features the traditional American eagle with outstretched wings perched on a bundle of arrows framed by olive branches, symbolizing strength and peace. In very fine condition, the coin maintains clear outlines, noticeable details in Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers, and only light wear on the high points. Collectors prize coins that retain such detail while avoiding heavy circulation marks. While 1986 quarters were minted in the tens of millions, finding one in very fine condition with the P mint mark is less common than it seems. Most coins from this era were used in everyday transactions and did not survive with sharp detail. As a result, collectors seeking coins in superior grades have driven up demand. The combination of a Philadelphia mint mark and a very fine grade creates a niche rarity that is particularly attractive to those building high-quality collections of modern quarters. Numismatic enthusiasts often prioritize such coins because they offer a tangible connection to the historical minting process while still being accessible for private collectors. In today's auction market, a 1986 Washington quarter with a P mint mark in very fine condition can command significant interest. Prices typically range from around $185,700 for coins in standard very fine condition, but exceptional examples with excellent strike quality, minimal scratches, and eye appeal can fetch slightly higher values, particularly from reputable auction houses or collectors specializing in modern quarters. While these prices may seem modest compared to older rarities, the value is notable for a modern circulating coin, especially considering its potential for further appreciation as fewer coins remain in collectible condition over time. For collectors interested in acquiring this coin, the first step is to focus on condition. Coins in very fine or higher grades are the most desirable, as they retain the intricate details that bring the design to life. When purchasing, it's essential to verify the mint mark and inspect the coin for signs of cleaning, wear, or damage, which can significantly reduce its value. Additionally, buying from reputable dealers, certified auction houses, or coins graded by professional services such as PCGS or NGC ensures authenticity and proper evaluation of condition. For those building a broader Washington quarter collection, tracking the mint marks and understanding the relative scarcity of each year can enhance both the enjoyment and investment potential of the hobby. The 1986 Washington quarter with a P mint mark in very fine condition may seem modest at first glance, but its historical significance, distinctive design, and collectible condition make it a fascinating coin for modern collectors. While millions were minted, the survival of high-quality examples has created a niche market where collectors compete for well-preserved coins. Whether you are an experienced numismatist or a beginner, adding such a quarter to your collection is both a tribute to American history and a savvy investment in the world of modern coin collecting. Next up, the legendary Washington quarter 1998 with P mint mark. At first glance, this might look like an ordinary, modern 25-cent piece, but the collecting market tells us a different story. In the world of coin collecting, even modern coins can skyrocket in value if they carry rarity-enhancing elements such as minting errors, exceptional condition, or low survival rates in a particular grade. We're going to explore every detail, from history and minting facts to the hidden attributes that drive collector demand and premium auction results. And the big question: how much can this quarter be worth in US dollars today? Stay tuned. The history of the Washington quarter goes back nearly a century. Originally introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birth anniversary of America's founding president, George Washington, this coin replaced the standing Liberty quarter and became a permanent part of U.S. currency. Designed by sculptor John Flanagan, it carries Washington's portrait on the obverse, and traditionally displayed an eagle on the reverse until 1998. The 1998 issue sits at a fascinating turning point, the final year before the U.S. Mint transitioned into the 50-state commemorative quarter series. The coin we're analyzing, the 1998 strike from the Philadelphia Mint, carries the Mint identifier P, a detail that didn't exist on circulation quarters before 1980, making this mint mark relatively modern historically but significant for collectors identifying origin. In 1998 alone, the Philadelphia Mint produced more than 900 million quarters for public circulation. Despite this high mintage, condition-based scarcity and minting mishaps make a small percentage of these coins collecting grade gems. Let's explore what makes the 1998 P quarter composition so distinctive. The coin weighs 5.67 grams, has a diameter of 24.30 millimeters, and is built from layers 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded over a pure copper core, giving it durability and a silver-like finish. The obverse shows a bold left-facing portrait of George Washington, adorned with the inscriptions "Liberty, in God We Trust," and the year 1998. The reverse, still showing the classic heraldic eagle design, features the inscriptions "United States of America, $quarter," and "E pluribus unum." What sets premium 1998 P quarters apart from the masses are fine details like strong die strikes, absence of major surface abrasions, and crisp lettering around Washington's ponytail curls, jawline, and hair contours. Collectors specifically inspect the mint mark, P, located just right of Washington's ribbon tail on the obverse. And here is a fact many casual collectors overlook: modern quarters like this aren't rare by mintage, but they can be profoundly rare by surviving condition or era profile, which is where the value story begins. You may be wondering, if this coin had nearly 1 billion copies made, how can we even mention the word rare? Well, rarity in numismatics is not always about production count, it's about how few exist today in a desirable state. Most 1998 P quarters were circulated heavily, stored carelessly, or damaged in coin rollers, making examples in authenticated fine grade or higher much harder to source than people imagine. In fine condition, Washington's cheekbone, ponytail, and eagle's feathers usually show moderate wear but remain clearly identifiable, which is the minimum acceptable grade for many mainstream collectors pursuing album completion. However, the real driver of intense demand in this coin's category is the error and variety market. Some confirmed minting anomalies reported on 1998 P quarters include off-center strikes, broad strike errors, weak or doubled mint marks, struck through debris, and rare cases of doubled dies in the obverse lettering or date. When a 1998 P quarter contains verified error characteristics and maintains fine or higher condition, auction interest spikes dramatically. These coins grab attention on error coin forums and are often certified by grading services before entering major auctions. Collectors chasing these anomaly variants see them not as everyday currency, but as modern mint artifacts, frozen mistakes of manufacturing history. Now to the exciting part that everyone has been waiting for: the market value. A normal 1998 P circulation strike quarter in average fine condition is usually valued only slightly above face value, often between $133,000 depending on collector interest and local sale dynamics. But here's the truth that lights up the auction market: if the coin carries verified errors or belongs to a rare variety grouping, then this modern quarter can suddenly jump into extraordinary value territory. Fine condition error strike 1998 P quarters have been sold in past online auction records ranging from $145,000, depending on error type and visibility. More dramatic errors off-center broad strikes, or clear double dies have exceeded $225,000 when collectors compete aggressively, even on coins that aren't mint state. The reason is simple: the error coin market operates on scarcity of anomaly, not age. A 1998 coin is technically modern, but its error survival population is extremely limited. We've seen modern error quarters with huge premiums traded on platforms like eBay, and auction houses often relist certified modern errors when interest rises. The highest prices on 1998 P quarters come from graded error specimens, not standard strikes. So if you're a collector or someone who just discovered one of these quarters in your pocket or roll hunt, how do you approach it wisely? First and foremost, inspect the coin under good lighting and magnification. Look for signs of striking irregularities around the rim, date, mint mark, and lettering. Wear is acceptable in fine grade, but the key is clarity. Features need to remain visible and identifiable. If you suspect an error, don't clean the coin. Cleaning destroys the surface metal and can reduce coin value by 50% or more. Instead, preserve the coin exactly as found and consider submitting it for certification if the error looks strong and unquestionable. Roll hunting is one of the smartest ways to find 1998 P quarters for free. Collectors open bank rolls and search manually. This is how most modern era coins are discovered. And remember, the value lies in difference and scarcity, not circulation alone. The Washington 1998 P mint mark quarter is a perfect example of a misunderstood coin. While its mintage was massive, its appeal in the collecting universe lives in conditional survival, scarcity, and minting era populations. In fine condition, it meets the base grade for US coin albums, but when errors are present, demand goes from casual to competitive, and value goes from face value to impressive auction premiums in dollars. The real treasure is not the coin alone, it is the story it carries. The final classical eagle reverse year before state designs reshaped US quarters forever. If you enjoyed this deep analysis, hit the like button, subscribe, and let me know in the comments if you own any rare Washington era quarters. Until next time, keep hunting, keep learning, and keep collecting.